welcome back to episode 21 or part 21 of my F1 22 My Team career mode. And for this episode, we are doing the Belgium Grand Prix at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I'm pretty sure. The last episode was the Hungarian GP, the Hungaroring. Pretty good, pretty disappointing results. I think it was P14. So let's see if we can do any better for this race. And what we just saw was all the resource R&D points and what else? And the discounts we got for all the R&D basically for our car. Man, I'm a little sick. So, and then we just changed all the engine parts because they were pretty worn. Because I used the worn ones for the practice and then the good ones for the race. So I just changed the parts from the practice parts to the race parts. And with all the R&D points from the practice session, I am going to buy something, I guess. It looks like, oh my goodness. It looks like all the, my voice is disappearing. It looks like all the, what is it called? The facilities. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out and my voice gone, but all the facilities are on low morale, except for the powertrain, which is high, I guess. But we are now, there we go, I think my voice is back to, well, we're going to the qualifying session now, and look at it, it's us, same animation, basically, every single race week. But, yeah, so I'm changing the setup now because the race, while the qualifying session it is dry, the race is going to be wet. And because of the rules or whatever, you can't change the setup. So I am now putting on a wet setup for this qualifying session, which means I'll probably qualify pretty bad since everybody will be, or maybe everyone else will also do my strategy. But yeah, I'm putting on a wet setup in this dry session, basically. So, yeah. My settings before I'm changing right now is what I was using in the practice session, which was dry. So this was a dry setup. Now I'm turning it into a wet setup. So here you can see I'm just changing some of the things, basically everything. But I hope I won't do that bad, just because I'm going from a dry to a wet setup. There's all the parts. I'm changing most of them to the second component, except for the control electronics still on the first. Basically, all my parts are on the second one, though. So here we're going to the qualifying session, and I guess I'll just be quiet, and we'll go straight into the race after this.
with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Sainz, Hamilton, and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Lando Norris, and Leclerc, Hughes, Ricciardo, Vettel, and Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and Oscar Piastri, Joe, Schwartzman, Yuki Tsunoda, and Kevin Magnussen, Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Latifi, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Hughes. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Right then, the formation lap has started, and I must say the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Okay, so that is the formation lap over. Looks like we're qualifying P7 and we started P7. There was 5 lights out and away we go, and like I said, it is a wet race, so I am on the intermediate tires, so as everybody else. See, I make a dive bomb all the way from 5th place. Now I make a dive bomb. I was P7, now I'm in P4 basically at the turn 1, which is pretty good. Heading into a Rouge and then Radion. Pretty sure I had to lift right there at the Rouge, which is allowing Russell and the Mercedes to overtake us. And then I make a dive bomb down the outside of Russell, while Vettel was also trying to make an overtake on me. Looks like Charles Leclerc in the Red Bull overtook Sebastian Vettel in the McLaren. And there we go, and we see the race leaders in front of us. They're not that far away. It looks like we have Max Verstappen leading the pack, with Hamilton in P2 right now, Carlos Sainz in P3, I'm P4, Russell's P5, P6 is Leclerc, Looks like the two McLarens of Vettel and Norris is behind them. So it looks like Russell's getting a little impatient. You can see him trying to get in front of me, but he can't make a move. So, but yeah, the race leaders are pulling away from me, so I'm like leading the choo-choo train, as you can see on the mini map. There is a sort of a gap forming between them and us. See, you see I'm like 2 seconds away from Sainz, and then Russell's like 0.2 seconds away from me, or 0.2, whatever. Heading into the bus stop chicane, I'm pretty sure. In the last turn of the lap 1. Good, we're doing pretty good. It looks like there was a little skirmish down all the way in the back in the P21, P22. It looks like there's an Aston Martin right there. Oh, Aston Martin and Williams, they're pitting. I don't know why they're pitting, so that means there must have been a damage in this race. Looks like Russell tried to overtake us. Looks like he locked up a bit because he went wide, allowing Leclerc and the Red Bull to overtake Russell. So, and I keep my position at P4. I don't know why. Oh, and now here's Leclerc trying to overtake us, and then he just backs out of that move and could not stick that move, I guess. But yeah, speaking about the Williams and the Aston Martin, I don't know why they boxed in this basically no stop race, because it's going to be raining the whole race. And now they're like all the way. They're never going to catch up unless there's a safety car, but I doubt it. But the order is, I guess, is basically the same. Nothing's changed. So, but yeah, the gap is just continuing to form between Sainz and me. So I think this race, just like the Hungarian GP, is going to be a pretty quiet race, you know. I'm going to be in no man's land where there's barely anybody in front of me. I guess we have Leclerc pressuring us, but I'm not really feeling pressured, you know. Even the gap is 0.2 between me and him. I don't think he can really overtake me, you know. You need that confidence to win a championship. But yeah, like the gap, while it keeps going up and down, he's still not able to overtake me though. So yeah. And the faster lap, I don't really know who has the faster lap actually. But I just set my best lap, not the fastest lap, but the best lap for 156.920. Pretty good. And I feel like trying something new. So this episode, I am fast forwarding instead of just skipping the whole lap. So I guess you could see me driving the lap, but the sound might be weird. It might be really high pitched, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think the next, what is the next? I think the next race after this small race is gonna be the Dutch GP, you know, Max Verstappen's territory. It looks like this lap, I'm saying purple sector 1, purple sector 2. And it looks like Hamilton got the fastest lap, but now we take the fastest lap for 155.997. And it looks like that got taken away. And we are now on the last lap. That was pretty quick. Lap 11 now. I'm going up the Rouge, heading to Radion, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, throughout the whole race, we've been P4. So nothing's changed, you know. Nothing's changed with the top 3 either. It's just Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz. That's been the whole race. Nothing changed. Even behind, it's just Leclerc, Russell. It looks like one of the McLarens dropped down behind the Alpine. Could be Vettel, could be Norris. We'll see at the standings. But it looks like now we're on lap 11. We're like 1/3 of the way with this lap. It looks like there was some pretty major gaps formed. Like Verstappen, he has a big gap towards Hamilton. So it's pretty good. And Sainz to me, that's a 7-second gap, as you can see on the mini map. Looks like behind Russell towards the McLaren, there's a gap there. McLaren to the Alpine, there's a gap. Ricciardo to one of the AlphaTauris, there's a gap. The Alpine to the Haas, another gap. Haas to AlphaTauri, another gap. Alfa Romeo to the other Haas, another gap. Aston Martin to the Williams, there's a gap. The other Aston Martin to the Williams, there's a gap. So looks like this field pretty spread. I think a pretty quiet race for basically all of us. No man's land for all of us. It looks like Max Verstappen won the race. We end up P4. So I guess we just got points, which is better than the last race. We didn't get any points at all. Pretty good for our championship fights. But it looks like Carlos Sainz will pull out even more in front because he got more points than us this race. And last race, he got more points. But there's the Red Bull team celebrating their win with their champion. No, actually not their champion. Not their champion. Leclerc was champion last season in this F1 universe. So, yeah, there was Verstappen. So here's the race rundown. We have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz, us, Leclerc, Russell, Vettel, Alonso, Norris, Ricardo, Gasly. Oh, Alonso's still here. I thought he was gone. Gasly, Ocon, Piastri, Tsunoda, Bottas, Schwartzman, Schumacher, Stroll, Albon, Magnussen, Tiffy, and Joe. I honestly thought that Fernando Alonso was gone this season in my F1 universe. Apparently he's still here. But yeah, the gap to Sainz from us is 20 points. He's 20 points. And we're still 5th in the constructors, which, man, I wish Schumacher would score some points, but nah. Here's the rivalry breakdown between me and Leclerc. He's still ahead of us by 2 points. But it looks like this race week, we did beat him 4-3. I think that's what it said. Here's the claim. I went up a little. Schumacher went down a little. Team went up a little. We get all the sponsorship money. Here we are. Yeah, Dutch GP. And we're just going to renew our sponsor, But for the activities until the Dutch GP, I will choose the simulator training, which I hope will improve Schumacher. Maybe he'll score some points for us. There's Ethan telling us where we are in our car, like R&D wise. And currently we are still the last team, which is okay. But we have some parts coming in, durability, powertrain, and chassis, which should put us above the Alpine, maybe above the Williams, but I am not sure. Now we're going to advance the time. And you saw our durability thing was fine. So we are going to the Lion's Den now. Circuit Zandvoort, or the Dutch GP. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Get us to 190. I hope you don't need to subscribe. But thank you for 185.